Comcast 1, and then Comcast 2 is over here. I guess, you know, in preparation for potentially a hot campaign here. I have no idea. I don't know. Of course, the population here is not as booming as it has been in the past. The pandemic really reduced numbers here. And of course, during the pandemic, there were tons of riots and everything else. So it was the George Floyd trial and everything else. And Philly will let it play out. So a show goes on the streets per se. It's a liberal city, so they have it all under control in a certain kind of way. Starbucks was set on fire at City Hall, but that's a very temporary, like, fabricated little tiny Starbucks. It's not like a normal store, so it was very easy to fix. You know, it's not a huge loss, if you will, property-wise. It's just particle boards all stuck together looking, you know. So it's built for a show, is what some would say. City Shakes, you know, City Fitness. Only Philly has City Fitness. You should go check out their website because they have a camera that floats around all the rooms in each location of City Fitness, and it just looks like a CIA ball that just like flies behind your arms while you're trying to do a lap pull or whatever, you know. I'm kind of curious how they pulled off that feat from a cameraman's point of view. Like, did they have a lot of editing and like push the camera through and behind, and they make it look like it's going like this through the gym? And I wondered, like, is the little CIA ball looking for someone at each gym? Maybe to help them. Which way am I going? Go this way? This is actually the Kennedy House here. We're alongside it. So, is the little CIA ball in every City Fitness gym looking for someone to be a host of a CIA puppet master, handler? So I know that sounds really yucky and conspiratorial, but anyway, some people believe they're helping if they're able to help guide someone who normally isn't guided in life or assisted. Some people know they're assisted. They know words came too easily at some point during their medical education, during like med school, and they're like, oh, all of a sudden everything's like 10 times easier. Boom, they got someone helping them. So anyway, forget what I was, so I don't know what to say. You know, these poles went up long after the pandemic, and they have them here near the Four Seasons, which is on the west side of Comcast Center 2. On the east side, you have, is it NBC who's in there? NBC has offices in there, of course, Comcast itself. We always have these, like, you know, muscle muffler people racing through the streets. Sometimes it gets annoying if it's at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, tone it down and also slow it down. Like, I you know, doesn't take much to lose control of a car. So, anyway, what if we were seen as cars for people to drive, you know, master race car drivers? Is Sharon a Tesla, a Ford, you know, a Hyundai, a Mazda, a Beamer? So, a Mercedes. That's so funny. A Toyota. They love to say Toyota. So, because people can be seen as toys by the dark side of that type of ideology, if you will, belief system, and, you know, capability, I guess. Schindler, like Schindler's List. See how it looks like an oven dial? And of course, Schindler's List is about World War II and the concentration camps, the enslavement of Jews per se, or the gathering up and taking by train, mostly, you know, to specific camps, and you know, as you know, based on history, what history says is, you know, they've used all kinds of agents in these camps, which is pretty, you know, grotesque, if you will. So to have an oven dial looking logo for Schindler's List, for that's an elevator company. Don't let the elevator take you down. Oh no, you know. So anyway, you want to go up on the elevator, not down. Which brings me to an interesting point. I actually walk down the stairs every time because I have a claustrophobic thing and also an issue with something that started in 2011. So I no longer need people piling onto the elevator when I leave my building. I walk down every single time, and I have done so for about a year and a half. I got tired of too much going on the elevators, but alas, it's hard to walk up 13 flights. I'm not in that great a shape, you know, and I'm also 53. Stairs are among the hardest respiratorily to conquer. So I do take the elevator up. Should we go through Logan, or should we? We'll go through the middle just to be more picturesque. But anyway, these poles preventing cars from racing up and hitting Comcast Center or similar, are they put in place in preparation for a campaign year that people have been, you know, wondering about in terms of violence breaking out, rioting based on, say, George Floyd activity, which of course that activity occurred when most people were indoors for the pandemic. So everyone was on lockdown, and people who wanted to riot had more free reign out here on the streets. A lot of people were kept away from danger and staying indoors, and who knows, you know, having Zoom meetings or watching a lot of TV, you know, whatever. Crying with Brianna on CNN about the total number of people perishing during the pandemic and because of coronavirus. They had that ticker on the side of the newscast, just raking in the numbers, you know. So I don't know, you know, people are playing it safe a little bit because things happen here and there. They had, of course, the explosion in Texas today, and they have to consider, like, you know, of course, accident, what's going on there, or sabotage, or you know, it could even be like a competing crude oil company sabotaging another one somehow. And if you have puppet masters, what if an employee, a lowly employee, or even a highly trained one who doesn't get paid as much as the Mac Daddy ones, what if he always does it right, but this one day he wasn't thinking and he did something that incorrect? It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be easy to do something incorrect. Go this way. But you never know. Like one little slip, I guess. It should be incredibly difficult to make a mistake on a pipeline, but who knows? So they have to consider probably all those things. I was thinking, like, I was listening to other people, so they have to consider error, human error, from all kinds of points along the pipeline, all ends. Sabotage, terror. Of course, sabotage would fall into terrorism. Like if you're a competing company and you actually have, you know, that's, you know, if anyone were to be at home in the nearby strip of homes closest to that pipeline, they could have felt a huge blast and possibly severe burns. And if anyone were walking or driving near